Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Denmark once again, and we're going to revisit a brewery who I've had some very good experiences with in the past. So we're going to go back to Midtjylland, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, or Midtjylland I think the English pronunciation would be, and we're going to do another review from Ebeltoft GårdBryggeri. And when I was over in Copenhagen at the weekend I was able to pick up two beers from these guys, both German style, so I'm very curious about this one. So this guy is called the Helles. As the name suggests, it's a sort of Munich style Helles beer. This one comes in at 4.9%, and you know, it should be really interesting. This is a style of beer that I've really got back into recently, and a lot of it's thanks to Peter over at the Clueless Drinker. You know, he was living out in Germany for a while. I used to live in Heidelberg when I was studying there, and I really love the German traditional beers, and Peter kind of got me back onto that track when I was watching him review things. So maybe this is one that I can get for him and let him try at some point when he comes to visit. But yeah, definitely looking forward to this beer. I do wonder if they do a Dunkel as well. I love the Dunkel, but I did manage to get the Doppelbock, so you'll see that review at some point fairly soon as well. But looking forward to this one, like I said, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Ebeltoft GårdBryggeri before. No doubt I will add more to that in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Danish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, on to my brewery notes then. So as I mentioned to you earlier, Ebeltoft GårdBryggeri are based on a farm in Ebeltoft on the Djursland Peninsula, kind of near Randers and Aarhus on Midtjylland, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Danish pronunciations are a little bit different from the Swedish ones, but the owner of the brewery is Peder Zacho Hansen, who was originally a mechanical engineer, but he later decided to become a brewer, and he's self-taught actually as well. But as the name suggests, the brewery is located in an old farm complex. Gård, of course, in Swedish, Danish and Norwegian means farm, but this is an old complex that's been converted so they can be found just at the edge of the Målsbjerge National Park. So it's meant to be a very pretty area actually, and the Kattegat area is of course where the whole Vikings TV series is set, so it's pretty cool actually. But in addition to beer, they also produce cider, bottled water, and Peder's brother Christian is also working at the company importing coffee. But the brewery also has a small cafe on site where you can drink the beers and enjoy views of the Kattegat, which is kind of between Denmark and the southwestern coast of Sweden. As I say, that's the area that the Vikings TV series is set in. Kattegat is a really famous Viking area, if you like. But yeah, as I say, I've had some very good experiences with these guys in the past. For a period of time they did have an American brewer, and he brewed the Raw Power, which was the first beer you would have seen me review from these guys, and that really was top notch. That was I think it was a single hop Citra New England IPA, and it really was absolutely cracking. One of the best IPAs in Denmark at the time. But it's cool to see them brewing some different German beer styles as well, because that's something that I also really enjoy. But hopefully I can get over there and have a look at their brewery or something like that sometime. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about the brewery just now. If you want to read a little bit more, check out the brewery website in the description below, and you can follow them on Facebook and keep up to date with the latest goings on there. But let's have a taste of this beer now. Let's get on to the tasting part of the video. So this one is a 4.7% Helles beer, or 4.9%, my apologies. It says on the front here, Helles Lager, inspired by the crisp golden lagers of Munich, Germany. Our Helles is a light, easy drinking beer for good times and lazy days. Brewed with traditional decoction mash and lager cold for several weeks, Helles balances fully malt flavour and refreshing drinkability. So yeah, should be quite nice. So yeah, there you can see, it's actually the label on this one is quite nice. I do like these almost, it's not quite psychedelic, is it, but these kind of retro type labels that I think I think that's probably fair to say. But there you can see the Ebeltoft GårdBryggeri symbol there. If I just bring it in, that is also on the bottle cap there as well. Just let it focus. There you go. But yeah, really nice looking beer, this one. As I say, I've had good experiences with this brewery in the past, so without further ado, let's get the beer out and we'll get on with the tasting then. I'm not sure if these beers have made it outside of Denmark. I would guess that they might make it into Sweden or Norway first, into one of the monopolies there, either the Systembolaget or the Vino Monopoly up in Norway. But do let me know if you've drank this beer outside of Denmark, or if you've purchased it outside of Denmark. I'd be really interested to know how far afield these beers are getting. But yeah, this one's poured pretty much as you would expect from the Helles. It's a nice kind of pale golden straw colour. You really can smell some of these grassy floral hops coming off this one as you open it up. But yeah, if I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see it is pretty hazy. There's a solid finger of a frothy, I would say, perfect white head on that one. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a few little ones heading up towards the bottom of the head. But yeah, this one looks pretty much as you would expect from the sort of Munich Helles style of beer. It looks kind of nice. Some of them can be clear, some of them can be a little bit hazy like this, but regardless, you know, it will be a really nice beer, I'm sure. So let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on with this one. You know, that aroma really is quite, it's just quite nostalgic actually. It really reminds me of, you know, the famous Munich lagers, like Augustiner, the Augustiner Helles. It really, the aroma of this one really does remind me of that. That's one of my most popular videos actually that I've ever done on YouTube, the Augustiner Helles. But yeah, it's really nice, this one. Just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma. It's the thing with the Helles is it's quite a modest beer in terms of its aroma, this style, but there's just something about it. You know, if you've lived in Germany and you've drunk these beers quite regularly, if you don't do it for a while, you really do start to miss them. And for me, it's like going back to 2014 when I was in Heidelberg, and you know, I was in Munich last year with my cousin and visiting Peter actually in Regensburg. But yeah, lovely kind of bready aroma with this one. You can pick up that nice pale malt quality to it. Definitely a little bit of white bread in there. Some biscuity sweetness too. It has that typical German malt base to it. On top of that, you get a little bit of the noble earthiness. The noble hops are very, very distinctive, of course. There's a little touch of that sweet earthiness. You get the light kind of floral notes to it as well, and the kind of grassy aromas. There's a little bit of a lemony, not lemony citrus, but there's a little bit of that almost lemongrassy citrus coming out of this beer as well. As I say, the Helles, the Munich Helles, is quite an unassuming style in terms of its aroma. And the Dunkel, even the Dunkels as well. I love the German Dunkels, the Munich Dunkels. But again, in terms of the aroma, they're quite subtle. It's the Doppelbock you have to go to, and the Rauch beers and things in Germany to get the big beastly aromas. But I mean, this one has everything you'd expect in the aroma from the style, so there's not much more you can ask for from it. But it does smell, it really does remind me of the Augustiner Helles, this one, you know, the one with the what sort of green label one. It really does remind me of that. So as I say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck in. But let's have a taste of this one then. So this one is the Helles from Ebeltoft GårdBryggeri in Midtjylland in Denmark. Let's get stuck into this beer. Slange, skål. Yeah, that's nice actually. It's leaning towards, it leans a little bit more towards the malty side of things, this one. It's a little bit more malty, and this is one of the cool things about even the traditional, is it the Munich 7 or the Munich 6, the traditional breweries that you have in Munich, the big ones, all of their Helles beers have their own little niche, if you like, and it's really cool because this one, you know, this one for me is leaning a little bit more towards the malty side of things. I do like that about it actually. But in terms of comparing it to the ones that you would find in Munich, probably if you blind tasted this one, to be honest, you might struggle to guess this one isn't from that region. It's really well done actually, and the way the flavours are coming out, you know, you could easily mistake this for one of the traditional beers down there. It's really close to what you would expect to actually drink in Munich. So well done to Ebeltoft GårdBryggeri for that. They've done a nice job with this beer. I do wonder actually if perhaps they've got a German brewer now at the brewery, considering how close this one is to the Munich styles. I'd be very curious about that. But yeah, in terms of the malt base with this one then, it's pretty much what you'd expect. That pale malty base, that just kind of blankets the middle of your tongue. In the centre of your palate, it starts to get a little bit thicker, there is a little bit more breadiness to it, and right in the very, very middle you can get some biscuity sweetness out of this beer as well. Like I say, it has pretty much everything you'd expect, and as you go further into the aftertaste, there's just a little bit of a graininess pushing its way out of this one. The hoppy side of the beer, again, is kind of what you'd expect. Back corners of the palate, you've got a nice little bit of that slightly sweet earthiness in there, but as you come further forward along the size of your palate, there's maybe a little touch of a herbal quality in there, but then as you push further forward, it's definitely a little bit more kind of floral. There's a little touch of spice to this one. Yeah, it's this beer, you know, it's one of these ones, the German traditional styles are notoriously difficult to copy, if you like. They're notoriously difficult to actually brew and get them tasting the same. I really do wonder if Ebeltoft have a brewer who's brewed for one of these breweries in that area, or one of the, you know, the established breweries. You've got Eyinger and a few others around there, like Weltenberg and Weinstefan and things like that, that are not one of the traditional Munich 7s. But it's, you know, it's interesting that, because that is ridiculously close to what you would expect in Munich. If you blind tasted this against the likes of the Augustiner or the Hack of Shore or the Paulaner or something like this, you really would not, you wouldn't know the difference. I would think it's that close to what you'd expect. But it's a nice beer. Have a go at this for yourself and see what you think. If you're a fan of traditional German beers, as I am, you will enjoy this one, I think. It is really close to the Munich styles. I'm repeating that quite a lot. I think Peter at the Clueless Drinker would enjoy this one. But in the front of the palate then, as you go round the front curve of the tongue, you've got a little bit of that lighter kind of grassy note to the beer. If you go behind the front curve of the palate, of course, that's where you get that little oily bubble, where those nice, juicy, fruity esters start to come out of the beer. And for me, this one, again, it's pretty straight up. It's just got that nice grassy, it's not quite lemongrass, but it's just that sort of grassy, lemony citrus sort of thing you're getting out of this one. And some of the grainy notes are just pushing their way out as you go into the aftertaste. As you push further into the aftertaste, incidentally, there's a little bit of a biscuity sweetness, there's a little bit of bready quality to this one as well, and then some of the hoppy bitterness is just sitting there too. But overall, a really, really nice beer, and as I've repeated numerous times in this video, it's ridiculously close to what you would actually expect in Munich. In terms of the mouthfeel and things like that, this guy, light to mid-bodied, which is what you'd expect from the style. Carbonation's very, very smooth. The mouthfeel in this one, a little bit wetter, of course, and that's something you will get with the Danish beers compared to the German ones, although it's really, as I say, the mouthfeel really is quite close with this one as well. Nice little bit of hoppy bitterness to this. I would guess it's maybe around, somewhere around the 30 IBU mark, this one. It might be a little bit less than that, around the 30 IBU mark I would say. A nice bit of juicy fruitiness, some grassy hoppy qualities in there as well, but overall, and the malt base has a little bit of smoothness too, but overall a really, really nice beer and very, very close to what you would expect in Munich. So there's not much more you can ask for at all. So for me, a big thumbs up to Ebeltoft GårdBryggeri for this one. They've done a great job of that. And I have to admit, I would suspect that they have a German brewer, or at least a German trained brewer in the brewery if they're producing things like this. So yeah, have a go at this one and see what you think, especially if you're a fan of the likes of the Augustiner Helles and things like that, the Munich Helles from Paulaner and things like that as well. Really nice beer, this one. Have a go at it, and generally this brewery do some pretty good stuff. I mean, obviously they're showing me now they've done the German styles well, they do IPAs, they're quite good at sour beers as well, so we'll see. Hopefully I can have an Imperial Stout or something from these guys. I'd love to see them brew a Scotch ale and see how they get on with that as well, but a lovely beer and one that I do recommend you try. So let's leave it at that. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Ebeltoft GårdBryggeri as well, and do let me know some other Danish beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. But once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews, and I will catch you guys later. This was the Helles from the Ebeltoft GårdBryggeri in Mid-Øyland over in Denmark. Slange just now, and I'll catch you guys soon. Skål.